Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading wrap for the week of 9/7/2025 through 9/13/2025. I completed 2 books this week, so I'll talk briefly about those 2 books. I read parts of 2 other books, so I'll talk briefly about those 2 other books. I'll talk about my reading plans for the upcoming week. I'll talk about the videos I released. I'll talk about my most recent crocheting projects. I'll talk about the music I've been listening to, and some other things too. The first book I completed was Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. A very enjoyable read for me, quite harrowing. The story is set in 1988 in England. It's told in the first person by Lenore. She is married to Charles. They move to place in the countryside near Sheffield, where Charles owns a smelting factory, smelt steel, mainly to manufacture knives. Their marriage isn't frankly going well. As they're heading to their mansion, which is actually a very broken down mansion, they encounter a accident where there's a carriage. There's a woman in there named Carmilla. They take her back to the mansion with them, and Lenore tries to nurse Carmilla back to health. The story goes from there. It's probably going to be at least a 4.5 star book for me. The second book I finished this week is Sphere by Michael Crichton. There is a vessel discovered under 1,000 feet of water. The vessel is one that couldn't be manufactured at the time, which was 1987. So a Navy expedition is sent to examine the vessel, determine what it is. They bring a group of 5 civilians to do it: a psychiatrist, a biologist, a mathematician logician, and an astrophysicist, and a fifth that I can't remember what the title of the person was, what their job, what their education, their job was. This is another book that I hope to have a review for soon, so I won't say too much here. Did enjoy it overall, but I did think a couple of the characters were stereotyped, and I also thought that this is very much a plot book, not a character book. The backstory, again, the characters is mainly almost like a resume. You read about them, you learn about their professional development, but not too much about their personal lives. So I found that the book was thrilling, and I enjoyed the scientific aspect of it. But when a character would die, which happened more than once, I found that I got upset. It was upsetting to me sometimes the way they died. A bad kind of brutal way sometimes, but I found that I didn't miss them. So this book's probably going to be 4 stars, but it also shows me that this is a book that reminds me why I care so much about character. I like to care about what happens to the characters, and in this book I didn't really care all that much. Toward the end I did, but I didn't really care all that much about the characters. The first of the 2 books I continue reading is the Complete Tales of H.P. Lovecraft by H.P. Lovecraft. I know I say this many a week, but it's just one that I slowly work on my way through. One thing I didn't realize till I read this book, I thought that the only H.P. Lovecraft novella-length story was At the Mountains of Madness, but there's actually 2 others so far in this book. The one I'm reading now is one of them, The Strange Tale of Charles Dexter Ward. That is also another novella-length story. Another book I continue to read is Everyday Crochet, The Complete Beginner's Guide by June Gilbank. Working my way through the patterns here. A little later, I want to talk about my crochet projects. I'll talk about the most recent one I worked on. As far as my reading plan for the week, there are 2 books I like to start. One is They Call Us Enemy by George Takei, Justin Eisinger, and Stephen Scott. Star Trek fans will recognize George Takei as the actor who played Sulu in the original series and the movies from the original series that followed. This book is a graphic novel, and it's going to talk about his experience as a little child when his family was sent to one of the internment camps during World War II. So I think it probably may be a difficult book to read from that aspect of it. This is the September read for I'm With a Band, a Fable book club monitored by MJ. Read This Life at M-J on here. The second book I want to start this week is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. This is the September read for Booked and Busy, a Fable book club monitored by Jamie, at Jamie Falk on here. I really loved her yellow face. I have heard some mixed reviews on this book, so we'll see. But I'm looking forward to reading it. I forgot to say that Hungerstone by Kat Dunn was the July/August read for the Cozy Club, monitored by Stephanie Bookish, a Fable book club. She is at Stephanie Bookish on here. Even though I had 2 months, I did not complete it by the end of August, but I did complete it this week. I also forgot to mention that Sphere by Michael Crichton was the August read for Fright Club, monitored by Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems and Crits at Crits_reads. I did not complete this book in time to watch their live stream, unfortunately, but I am going to watch it soon. Oh, and I should say their book club is a YouTube book club, which has live streams to discuss the books, and it also has a Discord. Actually, Stephanie Bookish has a Discord also, which I'm also part of. I released 3 videos this week. The first was my reading wrap-up for the week ending 9/6/2025. The second was a reader's favorite songs tag. And the third was my review of The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. There's a couple of crochet projects I worked on this week. The first is Up and Down Stitching. This is a pattern from Everyday Crochet, The Complete Beginner's Guide by June Gilbank. It actually is just a square to practice doing the stitch. It's essentially done. The only remaining thing would be to soak and block it. And I started the Taylor the Goat Wooble. I currently have completed the body. Played a couple video games this week. I played Tales of the Shark, a Lord of the Rings game. I think I'm kind of coming to the end of my time playing that. I've played maybe around 100 hours and did enjoy it, but at a certain point it becomes very kind of tedious because you're doing the same thing over and over again. Just doing these things to level up, and at some point it becomes, it's really not worth it to keep playing. I recently got a Nintendo Switch 2. First game I got to play on that is Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster. It is a throwback role-playing game with the smallish characters. Just played it a couple of days, a few hours. As far as the music I listen to The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, and I listen to the Spotify playlist I made for my favorite songs tag. So if you're interested in what I listen to, you could watch that video or look at the description. I did include a link to the Spotify playlist, and also included links to all the songs I talked about in that video. Other than that, I walked a couple times at the local mall. I watched some WNBA games, watched some YouTube videos. I would be interested in knowing how your reading week went, any books you enjoy, you might recommend. If there's nothing else you want to comment, please add a vampire emoji. I'm not going to say why I selected that one, but it does have to do with one of the books that I mentioned. I hope you have a wonderful reading week. I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe, please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.